Welcome to another stream. I still find myself in a hotel room down in Mexico. So, you guys will have to do with having me drawing on my hand. So, let's draw some stuff. Let's draw and talk, and you guys can ask questions, and I'll answer them, and we will be back to normal. How about that? Hey, Violin Gingerbread, what up? Thank you for loving my live streams. I hope that you get a little bit out of them as much as I like making them. So, let's draw some stuff. So, 2 more days and then I get back to my normal routine. After 2 more days, I get to go back home and I get to my setup and I get to have all the resources for my computer. And, more than anything, I kind of just miss my couch. I miss my couch more than anything. I normally sit at my couch and I just draw for hours every day while watching TV and eating nice snacks. Vacations for me are not necessarily the most relaxing. I relax more when I am very much in my element. And my element is my home. My element is my little hobbit hole. That is where I feel the most creative. That is where I feel the most productive. That is where I feel the most at home. And I miss my home. I haven't been there in 2 weeks. My buddy is taking care of my snake, and but it's always interesting having to go out on vacation. Not that I'm complaining that I get to go on vacation, that'd be ridiculous. But the fact that I have to take vacations to recharge is so, I was feeling kind of burnt out. Before I went on my vacation. I'm not going to lie. I was not expecting to have such a wonderful time in Scotland. Actually, I did. No, I lie. I was expecting to have a wonderful time in Scotland, but I was not expecting it to be that great. Coming home after that is going to be a lot of planning to see what I can do about actually going over there again. Ooh, I get to nerd out with you guys. I got an article accepted into Imagine FX. So not only are they going to showcase my artwork for my sketchbooks, no. Now I'm going to be a contributor. I get to be a person that writes an entire article. And I'm not gonna lie, I kinda asked them if I could have a job. Yeah, I asked them if I straight up asked them, I was like, hey, if you guys ever need any other designers, editors, or any sort of thing, to call me. To hit me up, I will be more than happy to apply. I will be more hard happy to do anything that is required. More than anything, because that's a magazine that I've always wanted to work for. I have always wanted to be a part of that. That and Maxim magazine were the 2 magazines that I watched and read the most when I was younger. I wanted to be a cartoonist for Maxim magazine as well. Some people wanted to be a contributor for Mad magazine. I like Mad, but I was not very good caricature artist back then. So I never really considered actually applying for that. Now that the magazine, I think it's gone. I don't even think it's there anymore. Mommy Milk. Hi, Ron. I'm not Ron. My name is Rod. If you guys want to know my full name, I'm going to warn you guys. Hold on. Let me see if I can flip this. Hold on. Doopy-doopy-doopy-doo. I don't even know how to flip this camera. Well, anyways. Bum, 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 bum. This is my face. My name is, and I'm going to warn you guys, don't swoon or anything, because it sounds like a soap opera name. My name is Rodrigo Esteban Gonzalez Monroy. That is my name. So when people call me Ron, when people call me Robert, when people call me Rodriguez, oh dear God, it drives me fucking insane. And most of the time I'm just like, yeah, sure, why not? Call me that. Whatever. Oh shit. Whatever. No, don't call me Roderick. I am not English. I am not from, a Caucasian descent. I am very much so Mexican. And I just like being called by my name. So the reason that Rodgon came about is because of Pokemon. I wanted, my full name is Rodrigo Esteban Gonzalez Monroy, which if you shorten that to the first acronyms of the letter, it's Rodgon Mon, right? And I love Pokemon. So that was my name for a very long time. When I was in school, I started odd as Rodgon Mon. And that was a really funny time period of my life, because nobody really understood why. And on top of it, people still get it wrong. People still call me Rod John. Rod John. Why would people call me Rod John? It's nutty. Like, people will present me in like events and competitions as Rod John. And it drives me nuts. Like, the worst thing you can do to a person that you have invited to a competition is to get their damn name wrong. That is nuts to me. Like, why would you ever do that? But regardless of that, that is just something that happens in my day-to-day life. Okay, the character that I'm drawing right now is, I'm honestly just trying to develop my little character called Vicky Mayhem, right? And her alias is gonna be Veronica Hoodenboobs. And it's based on the lady that I met during this last trip to Scotland, and I am completely smitten. Like, this woman just straight up just like scooped me up from the ground and just won me over. I had absolutely no way to resist that. Like, she just straight up just was like, you mine now. And I was like, okay. No complaints here. But as I go about developing this character, it's been very interesting, because I don't want it to be just a generic character. I need to make sure that she has like a personality of her own. So the one thing that I really absolutely love about it is that she has a very striking way of dressing. So that's going to like tell me like a lot about the attitude of the character. So now most of the time I'm drawing just her alias. Her superhero persona will be developed a little bit later on. Right now, I'm just trying to develop what her Clark Kent persona would be, if you guys kind of get what I mean. All right, so whenever I draw a face, it's always scary as hell when I start going into the body, because proportions, because of the way that I'm drawing in pen too, so I'm not drawing with pencil. I don't get to erase. So when I'm drawing with pen, and I want to make sure that I get the right proportions, it's not necessarily about just being an expert artist and knowing everything about positioning. No. It normally means that I have to have an incredibly light hand so that I can sketch with incredibly thin lines that will eventually disappear the moment that I start putting thicker lines in there. And that is essentially playing with a contrast, right? So I know that it's very, it's really dependent on lighting, but I can show you guys the 3 levels of lines that I have in this drawing right now. The first line is my sketch lines, which are incredibly thin, very, very thin lines. These lines normally, when drawn, look at the size of the drawing is minuscule. That's why you guys can see it so much. But you guys can see that over here too. If you guys zoom in, you will see a lot of little sketch lines, right? A lot of little tiny placement lines that are just there. The more you zoom out and the more you add contrast with everything else, those lines kind of tend to blend out. And the last step is to just go into Photoshop or whatever program you do and then just clean those up. And then you end up with a relatively clean line work. In this one, I have sketch lines that came all the way outside, positioning lines, mapping out lines, stuff like that, right? So it's not a perfect drawing. It's not a super clean, perfect drawing, but it's still something that puts out the feel what I want, and then I can always clean it up on digital. What pen am I using? Ooh, it might look like this is a really fancy pen, right? Because it has a little grip, but it's actually just a super cheap big pen. There's nothing special about this pen. They are probably the ones that you get at like events and like, you know, and like promotional ones. The other ones that I draw with, for the whites, I use Uniball Signos. Uniball Signos. These are literally the only white pens that I actually like. And the reason that I like them so much is because they actually set a solid white. Right? Let me see if I can get this to work. Ah! Nah, whatever. So they actually set a solid white instead of like that, like, you know, like everything has like, every other ones have like the little transparency to them. These kind of lay down almost like a paint pen, especially with small detail. So that's what I like about these guys, Uniball Signos. For the other stuff that I use, I tend to use these highlighters, not because of it's an exact, like that exact brand. The exact brand is kind of pointless. Like, I don't care. But I like pink highlighters and blue highlighters. Okay? And then I have been really digging using watercolor. So my buddy Jerry Dunham, which is an amazing artist as well, he bought me these as a gift. And I've been using these as much as I can because they're essentially the same as watercolor. They're the same as a highlighter, but you can have a wider range of color variation. All right, so let's see. He just knows how to use it. Let me go back and read what you guys are saying. What pen are you using now for the hair? It's just a ballpoint pen. So the more that you get used to drawing with pen, the more you realize that your penmanship ends up being a lot higher over time. Maybe at first it'll be really messy, very like dark and like sketchy. But the more that you practice with it, you get more accurate because you don't want to make mistakes. And if you're constantly trying to search for a way to get better at your art, you got to push yourself. Now, I could create all these things with pencil, just the same, and probably would come out even better, right? But my point in my sketchbooks is not to just create awesome artwork. It's not just to make the coolest thing that people will see. Oh my God, look, I did something. Oh, look at me, I did something cool. Look at that. No, that's dumb. Okay? I don't use my sketchbook as a gallery. It might look cool, it might look pretty, but it's not necessarily the reason that I use it. The reason that I use my sketchbook is to learn. I use my sketchbook as a learning tool. Every page, I try to learn something new. I like to learn something different. I like to learn and think of things that I have problems with. And then I aim to fix that weakness in my game, right? My skill set as an artist are my tools. My tools and skill sets are the things that make me valuable as a designer, as an artist, as an illustrator. So in order for me to be able to create and make sure that my clients get exactly what they want, I need to keep practicing and improving so that I don't have any weaknesses within my skill sets, right? If it's things that I want to do, I need to make sure that I know how to draw them. Now, that comes with penmanship, that comes with positioning, anatomy, perspective, and yes, even emotions. So when I'm sad, I draw stuff like this. I get it out. I make sure that if I'm sad, if I'm depressed, if I'm happy, I share it. I write it down, I draw it. I practice constantly. And I mostly do it with you guys. I practice while teaching. And doing that allows me to see the flaws in my game as well, in my drawings. So once I figure out that something is a weakness, what do you guys think I do? I practice the living hell out of that. Right? So you will see that my sketchbooks are not necessarily full of gallery style pieces. You know, they're not. Like, they really aren't. Most of the time, maybe the front page is, right? And that's like the only reason I do that is because it just makes it cool. It makes it like you're actually opening up a book. So I'll spend a little bit of time creating a very nice front piece, but then everything else is just really rough and really, 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 really full. Like, I fill up all the pages. This is normally the biggest size sketchbook that I normally go with. I love these sketchbooks, by the way. The Neek sketchbooks, like, message them and tell them that I sent you, and they'll give you like a 15% discount. But, you know, I'll have to put all the codes that I have for you guys. I've honestly accumulated like a bunch of awesome marketing companies that will be more than happy to give you guys discounts just because I'm the one sending you guys to that. But I always forget to post them. I think he just knows how to use it. I do know how to use my pen. Trying to learn his mask technique. I think I understand, but my eyes and nose look way off. Ooh, the mask. Okay. I can totally make a little tutorial about that. Okay, so the mask technique is essentially this. It's not necessarily a way to draw a style. It's a way to map out your features in your face so that you can actually understand what you're drawing based on real anatomy, right? This is very similar to other drawing approaches, but the way that I like to do it just simplifies basic anatomy instead of just teaching you, draw this line here, draw this line there. No. Imagine that you have a normal face, okay? Your normal head. In order to know exactly where things go, most people divide it in half, and then they divide it in half, and then they like try to map everything else out. The way that I do it, I like to draw a little mask. The mask tends to be towards the bottom of the sphere. Now, most of the time, I don't even draw the jaw until later. So let's do this. I'm just going to start drawing a face like I normally would. Okay? I identify the middle of the sphere. I draw my mask within that sphere with this going all the way to the edge of the bar. Now, what does this represent? This is going to represent the eye sockets. So you split it right here. You're going to have your eye sockets, your eyeballs, which would be blocked off by this midpoint right here that is your nose bridge, right? So we have the mask, we have our eyeballs. The eyeballs, all you got to really do to it if you want to have a quick cartoony style is just thicken the lines at the top of the circles. You don't have to do anything special with the eyeballs, just make dots. The upper line is going to give you your eyebrow line. This line right here is going to represent your cheekbone. So therefore, your cheekbone can start right there. From the bottom of your cheekbones, you can just draw a line down and create your jaw. Incredibly easy, right? So now you have your eye sockets, your cheekbone, your jaw, and then you already have every element that you really need. This space right here is literally that space for your nose, because that's where your nose canal would be. And this is where your bridge in like your nose, like that break between your forehead and your nose bridge, happens roughly at where your eyes meet. So you can draw your nose right there. Anywhere within that area, if you draw that nose, it's going to look good. Now from there, you already have this area right here, which is going to be where your mouth goes, and it can't go into your cheekbone. So you can set your limit to your mouth at your cheekbone. And then you can go on to your ear. You already have your temple as well, and you have your entire side of your face already mapped out. You can always increase the size of the skull if you want to make a more realistic look instead of a cartoony one, but it still fits the same premise. Now let's apply that same thing, but to a different style completely, okay? So that same concept, the exact same shape, just from a frontal view, and now let's make this into something completely different. Let's make this into Batman. Why the hell not? Like a comic bookish one. Boom, 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 boom. Let's give him a square jaw. We have our temples coming out of our mask. We can develop our nose bridge depending on how we want our Batman to look. And then we already have these big areas right here. And it's easier to realize that the eyeball has to be within this little shape than trying to figure out what it's like supposed to be like on a huge blank shape. Now, I do this like this because I'm already visualizing this mask. Like, I already have it so ingrained into my system that this is what I see when I'm sketching. Okay? I'm not really thinking about it anymore because I've already drawn it a quadrillion times in every single style. So it's normally something that I already have mapped out. But if you're learning, drawing the mask like this helps you break it down geometrically so that you don't have to worry about like guessing anymore. You know, the whole idea of guessing how things are supposed to go is what you were trying to eliminate. We're just going to draw the side of the mask. We're going to give him a big sulky mouth. Give him a little butt chin, some stubble. We're going to give him a big brow line. So in this case, the mask I drew would be up here, but you would have your eyebrows right up here, right? I want to change it. So I'm going to just cut that shape a little bit down. And I'm going to give myself my brow line. He doesn't have eyebrows with his mask, so you wouldn't see eyebrows, but you can still see the brow shape. Especially with big, bulky, strong characters, you end up having like a bulk, like brow line. You know, like the Hulk or Wolverine have like this big, hulky, like, you know, like caveman style brow line. So we draw that in. We can then go into our nose bridge, and depending on if they have like a broken nose or anything like that, you can just, you know, add fun shapes there. Then we can go into the eyes. Well, Batman has just like super simple white eyes. So let's just draw one eye. The other eye a little bit closer. And then let's add a little bit of shadows just to enhance it a little bit. This is our line for our cheekbones, so we can bring our cheekbones in like that, right there. and create a little bit of a shadow so that it looks like it stands out. And then from there, you can go into your neck and stuff like that. And if you guys are wondering how to draw the neck, really, really cool, you can check out one of the next Imagine Effects magazine articles where I got to decide what I wanted to teach, and I wanted to teach that exact thing because I find it to be one of the most annoying things to learn. So hopefully that actually helps a lot of people. I want to make them a little apathetic, like, ugh. Again. Joker. Again. Fuck. Okay, let's try some more styles, but I'm going to pick this up because it's getting annoying having to be like laying down. I've been developing my own pinup style for a while, and I'm starting to realize that I fall into the same category as Chris Sanders a little bit, but it's like a Chris Sanders with Chris Abel Peaks and like a little bit of Scott Campbell in there. Never mind, that drawing position sucks. Okay, so so now I have the mouth shifted to the side. That means that this side would stretch this way more, and this way would contract a little bit more, right? And then with hair, you guys were mentioning hair. And oh my God, there's like 99 comments and like 600 people in the chat. Holy shit. Okay, while I go down and like read comments, how about you guys try to aim at this little heart right here? Try to hit that. Okay, I'm going to read some comments so that you guys don't feel like I just don't watch the comments. Beauty, 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 beauty. Cool, I struggle with pens. It always gets on my hands. Yeah, that happens. I normally try to get a glove to be able to be better at that, but it just happens. Oh no, am I late? Nah, you're not late. Mommy Milk, class started a while ago. Tsukishima K52, your art is so cool and stunning. Aw. Gracie, just laughing. Raccoon Daddy, you're amazing. No, you're amazing. Violent Gingerbread. I ran out of pages in my sketchbook now. I have to wait until I get a new one so I can draw again. You know, you can literally just go to the 99-cent store and pick up sketchbooks there. I don't think they're 99 cents anymore. I think they're like $1.25. But it's literally like you don't need to have like an expensive sketchbook, really. Like you don't need to. Like if you are using it just to learn and to practice, anything with a drawable surface will be more than okay. Like I love Post-its. I love Post-it notes. Like I straight up just draw on Post-it notes all the time. It's a fantastic little tool, and you know, it's just a drawing surface again. You don't have to worry so much about always having the best materials. Actually, thinking that you need the right materials to create is probably a huge deterrent to your art. Yeah, having those co-picks is really cool. Yes, it does make your art look really cool, and it does make some things a lot easier. But guess what? You're not always going to have a Copic marker next to you to be able to create. So if you find that your art is being stunted because you don't have access to a certain tool, guess what you're doing? You're essentially creating a codependency with that art tool. And it's going to essentially, it's going to stunt you, and it's going to stop you from being able to be confident in your art skills, because you're always going to think, oh, well, I need my one tool to be able to draw this nice. It's just, it's so bad for you to like think like that. And plus, it's an incredibly expensive way of seeing your artwork, right? Um, the reason that I started going and drawing with highlighters, like back in the day, was essentially because I was going broke buying Copics. Like every set of Copics was like almost like $150 for like a basic set. And I would go through them like putty. Like I would just smash through all of them, right? And it was just so incredibly taxing on me that essentially I was like, okay, I can draw today, but it has to be perfect because I'm going to be spending like a good like 50 cents worth of material every time that I draw, right? I started seeing the monetary value for each sketch that I did, and it like drove me insane because it was like, it's something that I had to worry about now. And it was just dollars. I think it's like $1,000. Your local dragon, can you make a comic? I have made comics before. I just don't really particularly like doing them. There is something about sequential art that is incredibly bothersome to me. Not because I don't like it, it's because I studied it and I had to do it so often when I was in school. Now you would say like, oh, wouldn't that just make you want to love it more, Rod? No, no, like not at all. Once you have to draw like an animation and the animation has to be like 11 seconds long and you don't have the right equipment to do so, you know how many drawings an 11-second animation is? It's a stupid amount of drawings of the same thing. So I just learned to dislike drawing sequential. Now, that doesn't really apply to certain things like storyboarding and like, you know, basic editorial cartooning, which is what I love the most. Like, the reason that I got into art wasn't to be super famous and be like rich and like be the next person to be like Walt Disney. Nah, I didn't have those thoughts. I didn't think like that. The reason that I got into art was because I wanted to journal my life. I wanted to draw my life and I wanted to journal it. Like I wanted to make just little daily comics about like little silly things that happened to me, you know, throughout the day. And that was literally the reason that I decided to bet my financial future on art. Now that sounds really funny and, you know, like kind of silly for a lot of people, but you know, my reasons are my own. And honestly, like over the years of having to think that I have to explain myself to people, you eventually just learn to not give two fucks. Eventually you realize your happiness is your happiness, and your happiness, if you're basing your happiness off what other people think makes you happy, or you're gonna have such a hard life. You're gonna hate it because no one is going to be 100% on board with anything that you do, right? You're always going to have to be your own biggest fan. You're always going to be your own biggest supporter. And if you can't be that for yourself, woo! If you rely on other people to give you that validation, woo! No, nah. That's gonna end up in failure. That's gonna end up in like just a horrible situation. And I've seen so many people quit doing art because they don't have the right inspiration and they don't have the right tools. Come on, man. Like, no. Like, the tools, I've literally, like proven that you don't need tools. All you need is a simple, everybody has a phone. All of you that are watching this have a phone. All of you that have a phone probably have access to at least blank pieces of paper. If you don't have access to sketchbooks, you can go steal some paper from a printer. Go to any printer in any place and steal a couple pages. You can even ask the people. Go to a store and be like, go to like their service department and be like, hey, do you mind if I grab a couple pieces of paper from your printer? They won't say no. They'll probably give you a bunch. So you can then take that. You can staple that together. You can use a binder clip. You can literally do absolutely anything you can or want to be able to get a sketchbook, right? A sketchbook is literally not expensive. It's not hard. Grab yourself a pencil or a pen, which won't cost you a lot, or go to a thrift shop and then just go to their office supply department and just pick up a bunch of random shit. Odds are they'll have some pretty awesome stuff because people just throw out a bunch of art materials all the time. Like I have found entire Prismacolor sets without even being touched. And it's just awesome. So I make do with what I have. And then whenever I do have a chance to actually play with something expensive, it's not going to be so intimidating because, you got this. You already practiced so much on random other stuff. You don't have to worry so much about like messing up once you actually have that practice. This is turning out to be like a little cyborg. Interesting. All right, let's add some color. Can you make a comic? Okay, I'm trying to keep up with the messages. You guys are like always going really quickly. Miss Lucifer Girl 666. Awesome name, by the way. Sketchbooks are not meant to be neat. Actually, I don't know if I agree with that. I don't think there's a certain thing that sketchbooks are made for. You can make sketchbooks into nice finished pieces as well. That's not a problem. But what I have an issue with most of the time is that people automatically assume that that is the base reason to have a sketchbook. To have a big collection of sketches that are amazing. And they give themselves a lot of a lot of pressure in order to do that. And that keeps people from drawing. Right? That keeps people from creating because of the societal expectations. Like, if I don't draw something as cool as Rodgon, why would I post it? Like, nah, man. You don't got to be like me. You don't got to be like anyone else other than yourself. Like, comparing yourself to someone like myself or like Jazza Draws or any other people that literally draw for hours and hours and hours and hours every day because it's our job. It's literally what we get paid in life to do. It's really hard to put that comparison. Like, unless you're putting a good 7 to 10 hours of drawing a day, it's going to be hard to keep up with people like me. It's not necessarily a bragging thing. It's just, honestly, the amount of time that I spend drawing and creating every single day. And I do that with the same analytical way that I'm trying to teach you guys to draw. I am constantly teaching myself and learning and telling myself when I'm doing things wrong, when I'm doing things right. For example, by the end of the day, I'm going to go back into this Batman drawing and say, forehead, too big. Looks like a little baby. Okay? That's just way too big of a forehead for a Batman. So he looks like a little young, chubby kid, or like he's squished. In this one, the angle of this side does not necessarily match what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a little bit farther back here. So I would put an asterisk here. And then write jaw to pushed. Let's go into this one. Okay, so obviously I already drew inside the lines here. I like all this shape and maybe right to the edge. Okay. Then here, the jawline could be pushed a little bit further in if the eye wasn't so close. And then maybe the jaw could come in a little bit thinner. So when a lot of mistakes are done like that, I just like to put an asterisk with a question mark, an exclamation mark. And that means just, it's good. There you go. Let's see how much battery it has. Yeah, 60%. We're good. We're good for a little bit. All right, so that's what you do if you want to get better, okay? If you really want to get better, you do that. You have to be self-analyzing, self-critical, and actually understand what you're doing wrong. Now, if you want to do that and actually improve right away, you would go ahead and draw a quick version of what you just drew. A really quick version, say this Batman, right? And then be like, okay, so the forehead on the other one is about here. I need it to be about here. So that's where I'm going to make my brow lines this time around. And I just quickly so yeah, don't worry about copying somebody else's like original characters. Like as long as you're not aiming to straight up rip the person off, just enjoy drawing, man. People overthink things so much. Like everybody just, Matthew Knight, no, you cannot join my live as a guest. Justin Provost, now I know how to draw. Thank you. Okay. Mr. Gloppy, can you use this technique on a realistic sketches? I mean, I guess so. You could. I'm not about to go in and do that because I don't have references and I don't have charcoal and I don't have like the proper materials to do that with. But yeah, you can use it. It's just a mapping technique. It's not necessarily a drawing technique. I feel like I learn more from you than art class. Well, this is art class. So, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I think it's mostly because I know the frustrations that come with like drawing. I really know the frustrations that come with drawing and like not understanding something properly. And, you know, I'm able to explain it in the way that made sense to me. And luckily, a lot of people see things like me. Yeah, I don't know if this is like working well. And ears and the nose are all in different places. Then do this. Do the mask technique. That'll help you. Okay? It's all about placement positioning. Matthew, stop or I'm going to block you. I'm not going to join your live. You're not going to join, okay? User 6827 button. Give me your handle at Rodgun the Artist. Draw a monk. Okay. I'm guessing you meant monkey. We can draw a monkey. Now, the funny thing is that people ask me to draw things on stream, and I can tell when people are trying to get me to draw something so they can copy it for their businesses. Now, that's why I don't normally draw exactly what you guys might be expecting, right? A lot of people are so shady and so cheap that they do anything they can in order to get art that they need. So when people ask me like, oh, can you draw like a plumber and then like make them like smiling? I'm like, yeah, dude, I'll charge you $300 for that. Oh, what? I just wanted you to draw it on the stream. Like, nah, man, you're trying to get me to draw your logo on the stream so that you can take that drawing and give it to another designer and then have them just finish it up. That is, unfortunately, a very shady thing that a lot of people do. Like, I've been doing this for almost 20 something years. People are not that clever. Monkey. Okay, let's see what's on your pen. Cramped up, and it gives me a nice little like grippy part. Can you draw a hummingbird? Yeah, let's draw a hummingbird. Hummingbirds are fun. Because they have a super long neck. Beak. Whee! Doo-dee-doo-dee-doo. Hummingbird, hummingbird. Okay. And they zip around really quickly. Whee! And they feed off flowers, right? I think they like. They eat the nectar from the flowers. Hummingbird. What's I usually violin gingerbread. I usually get one from the pound shop, but it's too far away. Huh. Oh my God, Moon Man, stop asking. Okay, new rule. You ask the same shit over and over. I am just not gonna do it. Okay? Period. Not gonna do it. I don't respond well to people spamming on the chat. So no. Hi, can you teach me how to draw an eye in side view? Absolutely. XX EGOT. Good. You have a profile view. You have your mask to help you map out the sections that you need. You have your eyeball. Now, how much of that eye is going to be seen through that eyeball? Not very much. It's kind of like a slit. A little tiny slit at the front that actually shows your eye. So, let's draw a little slit that goes around the eye. And then you have your eyelid, which is going to... normally you only see no more than like half the eye whenever you're in a profile view, by the way. And you have your eyebrow. So this is probably what you would see, right? With the eyelashes coming out from the eyelid. Okay, Austin Peterson, you've asked the same shit like 5 times, dude, and I've answered this. Okay, next one, Zai Watts. Can you show us how to draw a face looking up and down? Let me see if I have something that I already did for that. I think I taught face. Right? You have a normal head. A normal head is something like that. When you look up, what happens, let's say you look up a little, what happens? This back neck contracts, right? It squishes. Whee! You still have the same amount of neck, but you're squishing this back part with your skull. So it creates a crease. This front part gets stretched. So this stretches while this contracts. Now when you look down, what happens? Okay? When you look down, this stretches. You still have the same amount of neck. Same amount of neck. Only this stretches. And then this contracts. Brooke, I just needed that, man. Thank you. Let's apply a mask. That is going to provide us the middle of our face. And let's just add a couple different lines just to make sure that it's it. That same mask technique, let's give it some eyes. Within our eyeball lines, we already have our temple. If we follow these lines down, it's going to give us our chin and where our mouth is supposed to be. So I'd say you can apply this to any shape or form, and you can come up with really interesting face shapes like that. Ta-da, ta-da. So that's not that hard. The mouth, like the technique, straw cat. Use whenever I'm drawing things for fun. So my style, I guess it's taken about like, I don't know. It evolves all the time, so it just changes. So I guess it would be the length of my career, so about like 18 years. But, I mean, it's just refining the same style over and over. It's not necessarily one thing. You know, that's just not how it works. Me encantan tus trabajos. Saludos de México. Saludos. Can you draw a witch? There you go. She's a witch. She has a little broomstick on her neck and everything. Hi, can you draw a witch? Oh my God, are we going to have another one? Are we going to have another one? Very glitchy. All right, we finally caught up to the chat. Jesus, that took forever. Since everything is very glitchy and it seems like you guys are having... Dude, stop asking for a witch. Did you not just see what happened to the last person that kept on asking the same thing? Oh my God. It is the most annoying thing in the world when people keep on asking over and over and over and over. Do not do that. You are not going to get what you want by just pestering me. Okay? That's not the kind of person I am. I will most likely never draw that if you keep on doing that. And this is not me being mean. Oh dear God. Oh dear comments. I'm annoyed with the people asking the same question over and over. So I'm not going to listen to the chat anymore. I'm just going to say my lesson. Okay, so we have the front of the face. We're not going to focus on all these details, but we can give it a mask. Just to give a representation of all the details that are going to be there. This area is annoying for people because you guys don't realize, or you guys forget, that this is just the two sides of your face being connected by a little shape like this, right? It's not flat. It's not, you know, it's a very interesting shape, but it's more so just connecting one bottom of your ear to the bottom of the other. But it's more so just connecting one bottom of your ear to the bottom of the other ear. When you take this and you rotate this up, your neck encompasses about half of this area right here. So when you have this, you're going to have your neck muscles, and then you're going to have a skin flap. And then that is what causes a lot of issues for people. Being able to see that as a three-dimensional thing would be more like this. Right? With this little tiny area, if we were seeing this from the top down, this would be underneath the chin. When you see it from the bottom, you can see your trachea, you see that little diamond, that goes all the way to your ears again. And then you see more of this shape like that. With your nose and everything else being on top. Now, not many people draw from this angle because it's just not very pleasing. So, if anything doesn't look right, it's kind of like you wouldn't draw a finger coming straight into perspective because you can't see any depth, right? Instead, you would draw it slightly to the side so that you can see that finger really going into perspective. All right, so we're almost done with this page, but seeing as I had to literally tell like 4 people to kind of stop being a bother, I'm just going to call it a night. So I will upload this to YouTube later. I will teach you guys a little bit more tomorrow. And then when I get home, I will have a proper setup that does not freeze and that doesn't stop and doesn't chop and doesn't look horrible. Okay? So thank you all so much for tuning in. We had a bunch of people in the chat at one point. I think we had like 800 like at one point, which is awesome. Ooh, what is this? What is this? Add a live goal. Live goal is an update of wish list that includes special effects to celebrate when you achieve a goal. What? That's cool. I'm still playing with TikTok and trying to figure this shit out. But anyways, you guys have a fantastic day. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. And I will see you guys in YouTube, Instagram, or any other social site that you guys have. I'm probably on it. I do have books for sale if you guys want to support, in the form of Coffee Break Doodles, which is a collection of the best doodles that I've done over the years. And I have a cool pinup book too that is called Pinups. So you guys can find those in my links in my Instagram most likely, because I don't know if it works on TikTok. I have it here too. I just don't know if it actually works. All right. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day. For all you annoying people, don't come back. Or if you do, be quiet and be on the chat without annoying me and interrupting the lessons. Seriously, you guys will probably not see any other artist saying that shit to you guys. And that's why you guys do it. But I don't care. I'm unapologetically myself. So if you guys like it, good. If you don't, good. See you all guys later. This is my face once again. Rod gone. Signing out. Later, peeps.